Hey, everybody. Welcome to this week's episode of Making Sense of It All. As always, I'm your host, Jesse Stakes. So, I think we can all agree that networking is an essential skill for all professionals that are looking to do what they do for more people that need what they do. Now, before I go off on a Dr. Seuss tangent, let me get this train back on the tracks. My guest this week found a way to take the sport that she loves and is passionate about and make it work for her and women like her. Jillian Foss is the founder and executive director of the Ladies Executive Golf Society. Jillian has found a way to make golf fun and enjoyable while also being a productive networking opportunity for women just like her. Whether they are new to the game or they have been playing their whole life, all women are welcome. Enjoy the conversation as Jillian tells you about legs and how you can be a part of it. Let's jump into it.
Thank you, Jesse. Pleasure to be here.
So I know we've talked before, but for the benefit of my audience, tell my audience what Legs is and what you guys are all about. Excuse me, what you ladies are all about.
I do that too. Ladies Executive Golf Society is what LEG stands for, and our primary mission is to empower women on and off the golf course. I feel that majority of women have never felt that warm and fuzzy, welcoming feeling on the golf course. I moved to Jacksonville, and my first job was caddying at TPC, which was a fun experience because it was right after Hurricane Irma hit, and I was in South or North Carolina having a little hurricane, applying for jobs, and I saw a caddy position open, and it was kind of like a high school bucket list thing. So I applied, and turns out I was the first female caddy, and there was just so much support from the drink cart ladies, from the starters, just everybody, and just felt that when I talked with the community at large, there were so many women that wanted to learn how to golf, but there weren't any groups for the women that didn't have clubs or didn't really know what they were doing. I also felt like going to go practice putting on your own is boring and nobody's going to go do it. So if you can create an environment that's fun and unique and all about, supporting women so they can start using golf as a tool to help support their business, then it's a win-win. So that was 4.5 years ago. During that time was a full-time insurance and 401k advisor, and this was kind of my outlet. And let's see here, 6 months ago was when I jumped off the cliff and decided to do legs full time. So here we are.
Very cool. I think you just summed it up. I think we can end the podcast now.
Yeah, I kind of went on a rant.
No, that's great. I think that's awesome. I think that it's, you're getting out there, you're telling the story of Legs, and you're spreading the good word, and it's amazing. I think it's wonderful what you've done, and I think that it resonates with women. And it's, golf is I think golf and tennis, probably more than anything else, are two sports that both women and men play, and they play it recreationally beyond high school, beyond college, or even if you weren't that good at it when you were young, but it was just fun and it's enjoyable. People get out there and they play golf, and it's a wonderful opportunity to spend time with people as well. Yes.
Oh yeah. I mean, I was lucky. My dad in high school, no, yeah, high school, he said, "Hey, you could play JV volleyball. You could have some coach telling you to dig, or you could play varsity golf. You'll play it for the rest of your life." And he framed it in a way where it was, for me, a no-brainer to play golf, and I'm so glad that I did. But you're right. Like if you want to play beach volleyball, you have to coordinate 12 or, four people at least to play, where you can go out and golf on your own or with two people or four people, however many people you can get. But yeah, it's much more a game with and against yourself. And I think that's what women don't realize, is that I'm like, trust me, I've embarrassed myself more times than I can count on the golf course. And I've seen people embarrass themselves on the golf course, but that's what makes it this amazing shared experience, that you're all vulnerable and you have no idea how you're going to show up that day. But you're approaching the challenge together. And I think that's what makes those great relationships on the golf course.
Well, and I'll speak from my own personal experience as a man. That's not just a woman's problem. That's us too. I've embarrassed myself plenty of times on a golf course.
Right. But you've also had those moments where you're like, oh my gosh, I'm a rock star. Like, did you see that shot? And that's what gets people coming back.
No doubt. I've said it before. It's people look for competitive outlets when you're a professional, or when you've decided, every one of us are a professional at something. Doesn't matter what you do for a living. And it's so when you take that step from being a kid who gets to recreationally compete at things, you have to intentionally find those competitive outlets as an adult, and you have to keep them in your life. If you want to feel that competitive nature, unless your job is constantly stack ranked and competing against each other, then if you want to feel competition, you have to find it. And to your point, people love to feel a win. It's whether it's fantasy football or if it's actually you going out and playing racquetball, tennis, golf, any of it, people like to feel a win.
Right. But I think that is a unique difference of men and women in golf, because I am definitely competitive, but I find that men, when they go out and golf, they want to talk shit. They want to play as fast as they can. They want to win, where women are much more collaborative in nature, where they might be, cheering each other on, whether it's like a whiff or whatever, and jumping photos, or they just want to go out and have fun. It's more of like a stress relief of just being able to be outside and essentially be free from all of their responsibilities that they have, whether it's kids or a husband or a job. They've got a lot on their plate, so it's nice for them to just get out and be free.
I think that's an incredibly fair point. When did I know that this has been something that it's been a passion of yours for a long time. When did you have the first idea to start Legs?
So I'm very fortunate. I don't think sometimes it's hard to find good mentors. And when I got into my job, I had an amazing mentor that knew I loved golf. So he brought me down to South Florida to meet Rich Rogers, who was his business partner, who does only business on the golf course. And so he's like, I got to introduce you to Rich. He's got this thing called 6 Degrees, which is kind of like a BNI, but on the golf course. It's like this networking on the golf course, men and women. But like I said, when I came back, I just felt like there's this huge need to create a golf experience in a way that women want, like making it a scramble format. So it's a lot less stressful if you hit your ball in the woods, rather than having to be like, oh, great, now I got to take a drop, or, how am I going to hit this shot? And everybody else is over there. You just pick it up and then you learn, if you're a beginner and you're with somebody that has, golf experience, they're like, oh, I'm hitting my 8-iron on this, or this is how I hit it out of the bunker. They're getting that hands-on experience. So basically, thanks to Rich Rogers and Will Montoya for being amazing mentors. But it's like I just created a flyer and a sticker, and I'm like, I'm just going to make this happen. None of it has been perfect. I think the first event we had 8 people. Now we have between 50 and 75 at each event. So it's just kind of a snowball effect. You just have to start somewhere. And I was just fortunate to have great mentors.
That's awesome. And you guys started in Northeast Florida, correct?
Jacksonville is my heart. So they kind of have created the template and the model, and now we're spreading legs across the U.S. We've got most of the Florida major cities covered. So Miami, Orlando, Tampa, Fort Myers, Boca. We're about to get Fort Lauderdale started. There's a lot of benefit of being in Florida because you can play golf year round. We're working on getting chapters started in Minneapolis, Salt Lake, Wyoming, Chicago, the Northeast, Nashville. But in those areas like Salt Lake, where I'm at right now, you really only get golf outside for 5 months out of the year. So it can be difficult to create the programming to create those communities where you're seeing each other once a month. There's awesome indoor facilities like Fourscore Golf Tavern in Jacksonville. A lot of these more like it's like Top Golf, but indoors where you have the bar and the food and then the simulators. So there's plenty of innovation in golf for these colder areas, which is making it easier for us. But Florida's definitely where my heart is.
That's awesome. And I feel like it's, as you're talking about some of these colder areas, I feel like indoor golf or finding those ways, even Tiger Woods and Roy McIlroy they've formed a company that's going to start showcasing indoor golf. So it's only getting more popular. And I think it's only going to be more accessible as time goes on, to where in those areas where you can only be outside 5 or 6 months, golf isn't going to go away. It's just going to kind of change the venue where you guys are going to meet.
Yeah. I mean, we have a simulator in our basement, so I can be like, I'm gonna go play Pebble Beach or, whatever course you want to name, and it's just so much fun.
I'm jealous
Sometimes,
now.
oh man, well, it was a bucket list thing, definitely an expense, but I think a worthwhile expense.
So have you had a lot of buy-in from the business community as far as in the cities that you guys are now? Do you feel that the corporations and the small businesses are jumping in with 2 feet and saying, hey, how can we support legs? How can we be a part of it?
Yes. Yeah, I think it really boils down to the incredible presidents that we have, fostering these kind of in-kind relationships, whether it's photography or marketing or signage, or we have corporate membership packages. So they can have 2 to 4 women from their organization come to every legs event for free, while also getting sponsorship, advertising, and promotional benefits. So that's something that we launched this year, or they can become an individual member. But I think that's an area that can really be a mutual benefit for these corporations. If you think about engagement, which is a huge topic right now with everybody leaving their jobs, like how do you
Right.
create a culture where they feel valued? And so this is where we're trying to pitch it as an employee benefit to these larger corporations that already have their internal women's groups. Like why why not leverage legs as an opportunity to get your women on the golf course as a team building activity, and then also be networking with other women in larger organizations to get better ideas on how to run the company or how to be successful.
No, I think that's excellent. And I think it's a point well made. We're in a time period right now where there's a lot of questions and people don't have a lot of answers. So it's time for new answers. It's time for new things to try. And I think that, engagement in recreational activities and putting it together with work and being able to offer those things to your employees, I don't think you're wrong. I think it's excellent. And I think that more people should get more involved. I mean, especially with legs, but
Yeah.
even if it's something else, if it's, find things that your employees are passionate about and that they want to be a part of it and engage with them on it. I think it's
Yeah.
tremendous. What about the
Yeah, we
golf
had
industry? Go ahead. I'm sorry.
we had Jacksonville Jaguars reach out. They said, "Hey, we want to do something for Women's Equality Day with our women," and it's just been
Nice.
a great partnership because, especially women in sports, it's kind of a smaller community. And I myself in insurance and finance, it's kind of I was in a male dominated field, and a lot of the women that come to legs are in male dominated fields, and so being able to use legs as a way of just inspiring women that you can do and be anything you set your mind to, and being a woman isn't a disadvantage, and really making sure that they capitalize on the strengths of being a woman. We kind of take the standpoint of feminism, like we love our male counterparts and we think that for us to be successful, we need them. So we have an initiative, Balls, Brothers Advocating for Legs Ladies. It's our male advocacy program. Basically, we just want men in the community promoting legs, being a part of the conversation, and using their position of power responsibly to promote women as they can, to kind of understand what challenges we have, and how we can both be united as a force just to make the world a better place.
Very cool. And so aside from, a monetary sponsorship or a support, how do the people that are balls participate
Yeah.
with you guys?
We have quarterly legs and balls events, where so the last one we did at Fourscore Golf Tavern. Our upcoming one is actually, we like to do things as ridiculous as possible with legs. We're not really the most politically correct, and we like to, for example, our major fundraising tournament, everybody's golfing in costume. It's around Halloween, benefiting the first tee. But we have an upcoming prom or a Sadie Hawkins legs in the spring. So just an opportunity to connect with the legs ladies, be a part of it. We like to keep our signature events sacred where women can feel comfortable, where it's just a women only event. But you can expect quarterly events coming up, and I'll make sure to let you know when the dates are.
That's awesome. And it makes it fun. I mean, you keep it light, you keep it fun. And I think you guys have a saying, right? What is it?
We play nine and drink wine.
Absolutely.
Oh yeah. Well, I think fun is one of our like deepest core values, because everything is so serious in the professional world, where we just really feel that you can be a professional woman and you can have fun, and they're not mutually exclusive. So yes, have fun, live your life, and go kick ass.
Absolutely. Well, and I think everybody has that, men and women alike, but I think especially women in the professional field feel that need to be very professional at work and, kind of exude the image that they want everybody to see. And so it's nice sometimes to be able to get off, out of the office and on the golf course and just be yourself and just be a human being rather than having to be a title on a business card. It makes it real. It makes people human.
And I think that's what my dad told me. He's like, the thing about golf is it's just kind of this equalizer. You could be a janitor, you could be a CEO of an organization, but you still have that same hole in the same course that you're approaching, and you don't necessarily have a title. But anytime I played golf with somebody, I swear I just have a relationship with them where I could call them, be like, hey, Johnny, or hey, Jim, I have this thing. I really need your help. And I feel like they would support you. So just getting women that exposure and the confidence to say yes to charity tournaments, that you don't need to be the best. You don't need to know everything. You need to have a basic understanding of like, hey, I need to play fast and I need to know the rules. But it doesn't mean you have to be a scratch golfer to get out there.
Well, it doesn't hurt sometimes when you have a woman who is a scratch golfer that can play from the up tees and help you out in those charity events either, though.
Yes. So anybody that needs a fourth for a charity tournament, I'm not a scratch golfer, but we were talking about putting versus driving. I'm like, I'll be your drive girl, and then Jessica, your putter.
You might get a lot more people dinging you on LinkedIn than you want to after saying that.
I'll take it happily. If I can't make it, I've got recommendations of some of the legs ladies that are just they're sticks, and they're
nice.
They're good for that.
Very cool. I'll tell you, I'm curious about how the golf industry is receiving you guys. I know that the Lynn Matisse Foundation has very happily supported you guys, but what about the equipment manufacturers and the apparel companies and all of these people? I know you're decked out in your leg swag right now, but talk to me a little bit about how you've been received by the actual golf industry.
It's been so fun for me because, if you think about all the conferences I went to in the past, they were employee benefits related and maybe not as exciting. So I'm going to the PGA merchandise show in a couple of weeks, and it's like now all of a sudden I'm in the golf industry. So looking to develop those relationships. We have an official ball sponsor, Odin Golf. They're a newer golf company, very similar mindset where they want to make a golf ball for everyone, and their slogan is "Go balls out always." Nice. And they so for every ball that you buy under the legs promo code, and you can use anybody can use the legs promo code, you get 25% off or 5% off. They give 20% back to legs as an organization, so we can start building scholarship funds, doing more philanthropic work in the community.
Very
but
cool.
Yes, any golf manufacturer or any golf equipment, we're trying to create more sponsorships, bag sponsors, so women that don't have clubs, that we can help equip them to be successful on the golf course. And I think partnerships are everything. Sorry.
Right?
Yeah.
No, you're good. real quick, what is with Odin Golf? That's Oden. Is that how you spell Odin?
ODIN.
ODIN.com, OdinGolf.com.
I think so. I'll have to double check, but I'm sure if you just type in Odin Golf on Google, you'll find them pop up.
Okay, so Odin Golf, and you put in the promo code for legs. What is it? So you get the discount.
Just legs. Legs
Awesome.
is the discount code. Yep. And they have a subscription model as well. So if you're the type that loses balls every round, you
That's
don't have to
me.
have any, then you can pick your subscription, whether it's like once every 3 months or once a month, depending on how often you're losing balls. But there are four guys. They gave me a call. He went to Arizona State University, and we just connected. And so of course it's like your partners, you just want to help them be successful. And if you can make it so their success is a part of your success, then it's a great partnership.
No doubt. And you had mentioned to me that you guys also have a higher end bag sponsor right now, or someone who's making bags for you guys.
Yeah, Orca Golf. It's a Florida-based, women-owned, the only women-owned golf bag company, and so we work with them. We got a discount with them, but they make really great, high quality, made in the U.S. bags. And yeah, so if you haven't heard of Orca Golf bags, check them out.
I thought that was a cool story you told me off air about running into the owner of the company totally outside of Florida, just randomly out in the
I,
country.
I was in South Dakota at a Perkins, moving cross country, and I look over and I'm like, that looks like Deb, the founder of Orca Golf Bags, but what the heck would she be doing in South Dakota? And she walked by, I'm like, are you Deb? I was wearing a legs hat, and I'm like, what are you doing here? And so, yeah, just a small world, wild story.
Absolutely. No, that's very cool. Things are meant to be sometimes. But
Right.
there's opportunities for other manufacturers and other people in the golf industry to get involved with you guys, whether it's clubs or, different apparel opportunities. There's so many things that you guys are yet to tap that are on the horizon for legs.
I mean, yeah, it's if I think there's like the 17 billion, I have an entire slide on just the economic opportunity for getting more women in the game of golf. And I think golf courses, all of them are looking at how can we get more women into the game of golf. But you honestly need to have it through the lens of women. Golf was created by men, and it's still this model that was, formulated for men. And that's kind of why legs was created. It's just like, just because it's done a certain way for a long time doesn't mean that there's an opportunity for innovation or an opportunity to see things in a different way. And I think legs has the ability of bringing a lot of women that are decision makers, to golf and to love golf in the way that we present it.
No, I think you're 100% right. And it's, barriers to entry to the sport. I think about with the equipment as well is the fact you have to buy equipment or rent equipment in order to play the game. It's not like you can go out and just buy a basketball like you can at Walmart or, pick up a bowling ball at the bowling alley. You have golf is a commitment. Golf, you have to invest a little bit to get into the sport of golf.
Right. But at our events, you can come, we provide the club, so you don't need to, you just show up. You don't need to,
Nice.
because of course we want everybody to love it, but there might be a chance you don't. So rather than having to invest, $1,500 and those clubs just get dust in your garage, you can check and see. We also want to provide more education around just even club fitting. For example, a lot of women don't get fitted for clubs, and I just got my driver fitted, and I'm hitting it 20 yards further, and they're going straight all the time because it accommodates for your specific swing. So yeah, we've got an event coming up at PGA Tour Superstore where women can get educated on the equipment, on how to buy and what you need when you're first starting, and just kind of be that resource, not only just for providing, women that they can do business with, but education as well.
I think that's amazing. And I think it's, the sport of golf is always talking about growing the game, or you watch a PGA Tour broadcast or an LPGA broadcast, and they constantly are talking about growing the game, and you really are doing that. You are an answer to that question. You're out there, you're introducing the game to more people, to a segment of people who didn't necessarily or don't necessarily jump out on the golf course every weekend, but you're giving them in a different perspective. You're making it fun. You're making it exciting. And you have to be commended for that. I think it's a job well done.
Oh, well, it's always like I fully accept the challenge if somebody says, "Oh, I hate golf." I'm like, "Oh, I bet you I can change your mind on that." I'm like, "Don't worry." I'm like, if you've tried to learn from your boyfriend, your husband, your significant other, just come to a legs event. And sometimes guys are our best promoters because they tell their wife, "Oh, check this out." Because, a lot of times, like I even see it with my dad and my mom. My dad's like, "Well, why are you hitting it like that? You need to do this." Where my mom's like, "Well, I don't know. I'm getting all these different people telling me to do different things." Where if you bring a bunch of women together, you get instruction and eat. We have a lot of different instructors, so you can take little nuggets from each of them. But women are they inherently, I swear, it's like whether it's something good that happens to them or something bad that happens to them, they want to share, either make it so the next person in line doesn't have to experience the hardship, or that they can share their knowledge so they can make it easier for the next person.
You think you could pass that on to us gentlemen? I think it's a skill that's lacking in our gender.
No, men are great too. I'm not saying, I'm not trying to generalize at all, but even my boss said it, like women will share, like if they have a good experience, they'll tell, everybody they know, where men will just be like, "All right, thanks, bye." And they don't talk about it. So.
Yeah, but we'll let everybody know when we've had a bad experience.
Yeah. It'd be funny to see, who writes the bad reviews, if it's men or women, and who writes the good reviews. So
right, that's a good point. I'm sure we can find that stat somewhere.
Interesting. Yep.
So tell me what's next for Legs. Like, what do you guys, I know that you're looking to expand. You're going beyond the borders of Florida. You're going out to the country. Tell us a little bit about where you guys are going and what's next.
I think priority number one, we want to be in all 50 states in the next 5 years. I think right now we have this loneliness epidemic where providing this, structured, where back in the day, you'd have your bowling group that you'd go to every Thursday, or your church, where there's not so many of those organized social experiences. So first of all, we want to provide that for women. We want to create raving fans of the brand. And long-term pipe dream, I truly feel that women's golf clothes suck. And so we want to bring Legs into golf apparel, make it unexpected, where women can truly express themselves through their golf apparel, where right now it's kind of like either you look like a frumpy mom, or there's just not a lot of, like, I think Bad Birdie's doing a great job providing those wild patterns that are unexpected. But we just want to make women feel confident on the golf course, whether it's starting with how you look and then your game. That's my pipe dream. That I'd like to get going in the next 5 years.
Very cool. Very cool. Well, we really thank you for being with us today. And I hope that I can have you back to where we can talk about some of the growth that you experience over the next year. And when you guys have events, we'd love to promote them for you. And I want to just thank you overall for joining us and sharing the story of Legs.
Thank you, Jesse. It's always fun talking to you. And if anybody wants to be a part of some of our events, they can go to legs.golf and subscribe, or check us out on social media. We're on LinkedIn, Instagram at Ladies Executive Golf Society. And they can always just get in touch with me. I'm happy to jump on a call. Those are usually the best ways to talk more about getting involved.
Thank you so much. We really appreciate you joining us. If you enjoyed what you heard and you don't have a chapter in your area, reach out to the show and we'll get you in touch with Jillian and her team. Willing participants and partners is what it takes to open a new chapter. Also, if you run a company and you see golf as a great way to network and you see value in promoting your women that are in your workplace out in the community, reach out. They're always looking for new partnerships. That's going to do it for us this week. Thanks for joining us, and we'll catch you guys next time.